Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So I host this marketing mentorship group for accountants. And last time we chatted, we were talking about offer structure, pricing, and packages. And really, everything I'm teaching this group can be applied to any business owner, especially professional services. But what we were talking about was how to actually package your services. So I asked one of our participants, what is your service? What is your core offer? And they said, bookkeeping and tax. And as we unpacked that and what that actually meant, there were a lot of aha moments. And one thing to keep in mind is no one really understands your lingo on what you offer. So if you say, I do bookkeeping and tax, right? What does that mean? I know those of you listening who are business owners are like, I don't know what the hell that means. What are you doing? What are you not doing? What's included? What's not included, right? There's a ton of confusion on scope, not just if you're an accountant, but if you are in any type of profession where maybe the boundaries of what you do are kind of blurry and you're not really sure where things start and stop. One thing that you're probably not doing in your pricing that's costing you thousands of dollars though, is making your implicit features explicit. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. When I talk about implicit features, I want you to think about the features in your offer that you think are common sense, implicitly included, and that you don't have to actually label them. And what you may realize when you really dissect your offer is that you have a ton of features that you never talk about and you don't take credit for. And this is why we come to somewhat resent our clients when they don't appreciate us and all that we do. We never bothered to tell them what we're actually doing. Isn't that funny? And you may be guilty of this. And if you're not really telling your client what it is you actually do, now I don't mean, spin their head around with jargon and explaining to them the mechanics of what you do. No. I'm talking about what you're doing for them. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of stuff that we kind of unpacked in an accounting offer on that call. And I'm going to go through other examples as well. But let's think about an accounting firm for a second. And you say you do bookkeeping. Okay. What does that include? Okay. Monthly reconciliation, allocation of transactions, pretty basic stuff, right? Does it include AR and AP? Does it include payroll? Okay. Yes or no? And by the way, the answer is not yes. Like the right answer is not yes. You can have it with or without, right? And does it include all these things? Think about like a menu item at a restaurant. Like, does it come with, right? Does it come with a side of payroll? No. Does it come with a side of this? No, it's just the sandwich. Like we don't do combos. It's just what it's supposed to be. And that's okay. That's totally okay. Now, we got into the bookkeeping piece and we were looking at, well, do you sit down with the client and meet with them and go through an ideal like chart of accounts of like what they want in their income categories, what they want in their expense categories? Yeah. Doesn't everybody do that? No, they don't. So guess what? You just added to your feature set custom chart of accounts design. Yeah. Do you look at their QuickBooks and assess where they're at and offer to clean it up? And let's be real, are you doing that for free? Because if you are, you're missing a huge opportunity to actually include a diagnostic or a cleanup in your service. And let's switch gears over to like a marketing agency. So if you're running a marketing agency, or if you're running a law firm, or if you're running any type of service business, right? What you might be doing is what the client needs without them actually ordering it. You might be pricing your services based on what you're delivering, not what they're ordering. So I use this example of, imagine you're at a restaurant and you are basically, you know what they want. You know what the best thing on the menu is. You know exactly what the perfect meal would be, and you're hoping they order it. And they say, well, I would like, the number one. Okay, great. But you know better. You know better. So you're like, I'm bringing the number one, but I'm also going to bring them an appetizer, a soup. I'm going to bring them a dessert. I'm going to bring them a coffee. I'm going to bring them a cocktail. They're going to love it. They're going to absolutely love it. They're going to be blown away and they're going to love me. Okay, great. You bring them all of these delicious, wonderful things. They are so satisfied. They're so happy. And then they get the bill and you charge them for all those things you brought them. Now, put yourself in the position of that customer. Wouldn't you be kind of pissed if you never ordered any of this crap, but they're dropping stuff off on your table and then charging you for it without you even asking? How many of you are doing this to your clients? How many of you are giving them services they never asked for in their best interest because you are a caring, giving person, but you are resenting the fact that they're not paying you for it because you're doing it for free because you know they need it. You know they need it more than anything, but you won't let them order it. You have to, instead of bringing them the food, you have to educate them on the menu. Instead of bringing them all this food, you have to educate them on the menu. And this is one of the biggest mistakes we are making with our offers and pricing, not just in my industry, but broadly, any type of service provider. And I'm going to use the example of a marketing agency too. Like, let's say you're also doing project management. You're also doing content calendars. You're also doing, posting. You're also doing engagement. You're also managing DM chains. You're also, right? You have all these things that you're doing under the umbrella that you would call social media management, right? What are you labeling and not describing, right? Social media management can mean different things. These features, these benefits that they have are important to actually disclose in some type of one-pager or brochure or landing page. When you're actually booking clients for these services, you have to tell them what they're getting, what's going to be coming to their table. When they order the number one, you have to let them know this is what will be dropped off at your table and you're going to be charged for. So that way they understand what's going to hit them and they can value it because they know they're paying for it. If they're confused that like, why are you bringing me this? I never actually ordered this. They won't value it because they never really understood the benefit or asked for it. So the most important thing you can do when you're pricing your services and you're articulating those to clients is to actually express what it is that you're doing, not just from the impact and the benefits and what they're going to be getting out of it, right? But also what the features are and what you'll be doing for them. Because I think that people tend to value the service more when they understand there's more included. They understand you're going to be taking care of them end to end. You understand what is or isn't included. This is going to save you so many arguments, so many negotiations down the line, if you can just be super clear about what's in scope in your work and what isn't, right? And what is going to cost extra. I'm not saying to include the whole world in your offer, but I'm saying that ideally, you have to kind of anticipate all the problems they may have. You want to make sure that they are the most successful possible. Ultimately, your job is to get them the transformation that they're looking for and make sure that they are successful. My belief is that you should include in your offer every element that will ensure that success. And you're selling them on the commitment to that success. But you also have to be clear about this is what it will take to get there. And somewhere, now I'm not saying in the sales call, because the sales call is where you talk about the transformation, but in your agreements, in your engagement letters, in your contracts, in your scope documents, whatever they may be, statements of work, you have to lay out, here's what you're contracting me to do. When you're at a certain point in your business, you have got to make sure your scope is super clear. And you've got to be able to communicate that with the client and make sure they understand. Also, here's another tip. Be careful with itemizing items on your menu of services. So if you are itemizing, let's say you're a marketing agency and you're itemizing social media management underneath, like you're saying, we're going to post, 3 times a week or twice a day or whatever the frequency is, right? And then you put a price on that. Then you go and you say, okay, we're going to engage in your DMs with followers and target accounts. And then you put a dollar amount on that. And then you say, we're going to project manage your content calendar, and we're going to put that together every month, and we're going to put a price on that. And then we're going to put email correspondence where we'll reply to you within 48 hours, and we're going to put a price on that. Be careful with itemizing those features in pricing. What I would prefer is that you charge a larger lump sum, ideally monthly recurring revenue for this service, and you list out all the features they're getting. But you're not sure what. Now, you as the business owner, by the way, you could probably figure out the allocation of the price among these features. However, you're not going to share that with the client. You are not going to share with them the individual prices for all of these things, a la carte, because what you don't want them doing is breaking off pieces to save money. Because imagine if, for example, social media management service, then they see the content calendar, maintenance, and management, and they're like, that's a huge chunk. What if we just cut that out? How the hell are you going to post at the frequency that you're committing to without that tool, right? They should be trusting you that the complete suite of what you're offering is what will get them to the most successful point. And in order to do that, you cannot give them the ability to break off certain pieces and say, well, I don't want that, and I don't want that, and I don't want that. Well, you make it cheaper. For example, my example I always give is if you go to a restaurant, I love my restaurant examples, but you order a burger and you say, I would like the cheeseburger, but can I have no onions and no pickles? Do they charge you less? No. Why? Because for two reasons. One is you don't get to pay less for the overall meal because they do allocate, they purchase a certain amount of onions and pickles for a certain amount of burgers, right? And the fact that you're not using it or you're not consuming it doesn't mean that it won't go to waste or that it won't cost them money. They already paid for it. Number two is just that it's designed that way for optimal taste. The chef has curated the menu a certain way, and you modifying it is not rewarded. Like, you're not going to take little elements off and think you're going to pay any less. It's so important that when you're looking at your offers, you have to look at it like a menu. If someone's coming into your restaurant, you are the chef, you are the expert, you are the primary person they're going to go to and say, tell me what I should have. You need to do two things. One is recommend the service that will get them the most success. But number two, you have to communicate somewhere in your documents and somewhere in your process of onboarding exactly what you're going to do and what they're going to do to help ensure that they are successful. And that includes all the feature set of what you're going to do. It is a huge differentiator if you will expand out everything that's included in your features in a very customer-centric way. So for example, chart of accounts design, right? Custom design for an accountant, a QuickBooks diagnostic, right? To pinpoint any errors or omissions or issues that are potentially in the QuickBooks. There are all these different things, a prior year tax return review. Those of you who are listening, you're probably like, yeah, I would want those things. Guess what? Your bookkeeper, your tax pro, they're all equipped to do that for you. And in my opinion, most of these things should be standard offers, especially if you're paying monthly recurring revenue. But what you can do if you're in this profession is you can differentiate yourself with these types of features. You can differentiate yourself by saying you're going to do these things, when in reality, most professionals are doing these things. They're just not telling anyone. Like the prior year return review. I can't believe how many accountants are reviewing the prior year return in detail, but not really putting that on their contract as something they're going to do, or that's included in the price. This will help you differentiate when you're doing proposals, and this will help you showcase that you're going to provide more value for the same price, if not lower, or even higher, same or a higher value, I should say, for what price they're going to pay you. So when you're pricing your services, just keep in mind all the features that you may not be saying out loud that are truly included and should be showcased. All right. I hope you found this podcast episode helpful. Please, if you are enjoying the show, please leave a rating or review on any platform where you're listening. I appreciate it so much. I read every single one of them, and I just love hearing that you're enjoying the show.
Hey, if you're a business owner who's on track to make more than $50,000 in profit and you're still operating as an LLC, well, I want to stage an intervention. That's right, you could be missing out on massive tax savings that you get from making the S-Corp tax election. Wondering how much you could save? I put together a completely free calculator and questionnaire to see if this tax election may be a good fit for your business. Click on the link in the show notes to find out more and compute your estimated tax savings. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.